92.3. Rock you. Rock you.
Does it not rock hard?
Rock you.
It's KOMP 92.3, the rock station. It's Sylvia, and I've got Corey Taylor on the phone with me. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. We were just talking about why the hell I'm not down there. But
Yeah.
It's also because I'm doing a million interviews today. So my apologies. Usually I would be there
Oh, I know.
for the FaceTime, but, today you get my beautiful voice.
Oh, no, I had to bust your chops. I was like, no, he's a Vegas local. Like, he's one of us. This phone thing is unacceptable, but I understand you got a lot on your plate. September 29th, Brooklyn Bowl. That's when you're going to be here. We're looking forward to it. So the last time that I actually talked to you, you were gearing up for a stop in Vegas like 2 years ago, and this was also the same year as CMFT dropped. So CMF2 is coming out September 15th. How have you seen yourself grow as a solo artist, as a musician since the first solo album? Because I imagine it's like a breath of fresh air to have like a little bit more freedom.
Oh, absolutely. The growth has really come from, kind of trusting my, having confidence in my abilities and my talents now, like even more so than before, because to me, it's just been the ultimate, the ultimate gig to just be a singer-songwriter, and that's kind of what the first album represented was, just songs that I've written over the years that I've not been able to record with either band or that I've written for other people and they've either used them or not. And, to me, it was just like, well, let's just put it out there and let's show people this other side, that maybe they're not aware of, and once we realized that there was, an audience, I was like, well, then let's take it even further. So knowing that I could go in and craft and put together a really rad, old school but modern, metal, rock, punk album and really focus it and really have fun with it and really take everything to the next level. The challenge was awesome, but I also knew that we could pull it off. So stepping into those shoes, man, it was rad. I was really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I want to kind of like talk about the other side because there are two singles out, Beyond and Post Traumatic Blues. And when I first heard Beyond, and I actually like really paid attention to the lyrics, I thought it was a very sweet song, and I was like, oh, this guy's in love.
Oh yeah,
He's definitely
guilty as charged. Yeah,
he's definitely crushing on his lovely lady. So, but I wanted to.
Oh yeah,
she's gorgeous, by the way, super talented. Just oh my god.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about. I feel like you're blushing right now.
I might be.
I kind of sense it.
It's not every day that you get to be married to a superhero. By the way, my wife is so rad that I could. I'm going to write many songs for her, and this just happens to be one of the newest ones.
She's also very funny because I follow her on Instagram, so she's super, super hilarious.
Yeah.
How does she feel about having songs written about her?
Oh, she's into it.
And she's like, I knew it.
Yeah, well, and the cool thing is that she hits me up. She's like, you need to write a heavy one about me. I was like, God, you know what? Can I just have some sappy stuff first before I start getting all weird and goth and
she's like,
and
no.
bloody with you?
She's like, no, let's get dirty.
It wasn't enough that I did yen for her, and now she's just like, she's like, you gotta write some heavy stuff. I was like, oh, for God's sakes, because she's. I mean, everybody thinks she's the head of the Cherry Bombs and all this stuff, but secretly she is like this aggressive goth kid.
Oh, I could see it.
Loves. Oh, yeah, she's out of her mind. And I couldn't be more stoked about the fact that I don't know why the hell she's married to me, but it's awesome.
Well, you guys seem to complement each other.
Well, I think so, man. Like, the cool thing is that we have the same sense of humor. Mm-hmm. We have relatively the same sense of music. Yeah. We're both going to be very, very fat when we get older. Let's put it that way. We love food on such a visceral level that we have already made a pact together that once we stop caring what anybody thinks about the way we look, we are going head on, full on into the buffet line. We don't care.
Yeah.
Like, we're so ready for it.
That sounds like heaven. And then you guys are just going to look at each other like, God dang, you're so sexy.
We're going to eat nachos off each other in bed. Like, we're going to have to put,
Instead of like the sushi, instead of like the seductive, sexy sushi, it's like sexy, seductive nachos.
Yeah. We're not doing sushi in the raw. We're doing nachos in the bed.
Oh,
That's
dude.
what we're doing. Like,
oh, man. You know what? Like, food in bed is always like creep me out, but you know what? That could be something.
Don't knock it till you lay in it. It's pretty rad.
But, aside from that, I wanted to talk about post-traumatic blues because, it seems like it's really, heavy on mental health. And that's always been a really important topic for me. So it's a song it's about your experiences, but not necessarily about and not focusing on just your experiences. So tell us more about post-traumatic blues.
That song was essentially about me trying to build a bridge between the people who suffer from it and the people who are desperately trying to understand it, trying to, find out a way to communicate and to help, because sometimes the breakdown in communication is one of the hardest things to deal with, and from my experiences and also because of, what I've been trying to do with my charity foundation, the Taylor Foundation, I've been trying to help people who are suffering from PTSD, current and former military, law enforcement, people working in emergency services, and their families. And what I've been trying to do is find ways to help local organizations to boost their frequency so people can find them. Because sometimes the national groups get all the attention and the local groups really don't get the focus. So that's what I've been trying to do. And in a way, that's what this song is doing for the two people that are in, the two groups that are involved, really, the people who suffer from it and the people who are desperately trying to find a way to help them.
Yeah, because I think, I think because we forget the people who are around those who are going through whatever issues they're going through, that's a heavy burden on them as well.
Yeah. I mean, and when I started my foundation, it was really something that it hadn't even occurred to me as well, like the fact that, the devastation kind of, it's almost like a radius around us, and sometimes it's hardest on the people who are trying to help, so the great thing about, the groups who are really trying to help is that they've included families in that, So for me, the message in this song is about connecting those people and trying to help each other understand what's going on, trying to help people who don't deal with it understand the effects of it and what it's like to deal with it, what it's like to feel that cold numbness come like just, because for so many people who suffer from it, a lot of times it's misdiagnosed.
Yeah,
and it can go untreated, and it's tough. So to me, it's about building that bridge and helping people communicate and see how they can help each other and they can move on and find a better life,
What's the information for the Taylor Foundation? Like how can people get in contact with maybe the people who volunteer or just more information?
The website is www.wearettf.org. So it's wearettf.org. And it's, you go on, you send us emails, you communicate directly with us. But what we're trying to do is build a network across America and all over the world, actually, and trying to show people where they can find local groups in their area just by clicking on their state, clicking on their city. You can find the local organizations, the boots on the ground, really, that are trying to help all of those people who are dealing with it. That's where you can find information. There are links to donate. There are links to kind of volunteer your organization to try and be a part of the network. It's all at that website.
Perfect. So we're talking to Corey Taylor. He's going to be out at Brooklyn Bowl September 29th. Tickets are on sale now. So I know that you are not into social media whatsoever. Even though you do have an account, you've said this before in interviews and actually told me you don't even handle your own account.
Nope. I have a good friend of mine who actually that's the business that he's in. I handed over all passwords and all
Ugh.
accessibility to him.
Honestly, that has to be
5 years
such.
ago.
Uh-huh.
Now. It's been 5 years, dude, and
Wow.
I cannot tell you, I am so much happier.
I was gonna say because
Because of
like
it.
I've caught myself just like scrolling like a pendeja, and I'm pretty sure you know what that word is.
Oh, sí, señorita.
So like I'm just scrolling and I'm like, and it's like an hour and a half that goes by. I'm like, what did I just scroll through? I'm just looking through
Right,
cat videos. I love cat videos, but what did I
right.
just do with my time?
Right, exactly. Well, I mean, and honestly, one of the reasons why I got off
Yeah.
was the toxicity. You know,
Oh, for
like
sure.
I mean, the world is a dark enough place. I don't need to go to some place that
Even
feels like
darker.
the digital equivalent of sucking on an exhaust pipe. I
Oh,
don't
for
need
sure.
that in my life.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, like it's bad. You know, and obviously, I have you know my various creative outlets that I like to promote and whatnot. And every
Hmm.
once in a while, I'll text my buddy something
Yeah.
funny to post. You know, that is like make sure that's for me. But other than that, man, I'm so much more engaged in my real life.
Yeah.
My, you know, the real like I spend so much more time with my family. I actually talk to my friends instead of worrying about whether or not they're liking things on my post. I
Yeah.
actually text them on the side or call them. I'm like, hey, let's go do something. You know, like I'm so much more engaged in my life
Did you
by not being on social media.
Yeah, did you try it for a little while? Did you find yourself that you got sucked in for like the likes and all
Oh,
that?
dude, I used to be hardcore on it.
Did you
Like I was
really?
on, yeah. Oh, I joined Twitter in 2010,
Oh,
and I
okay.
mean, I was in it, you know.
Mhm.
Like, and then obviously Instagram was right around the corner,
Yeah.
and those were my two. Like, I was hardcore on those two, and I was so addicted to the dopamine involved with both of those things,
Yeah.
man, that I was a doom scroller, like you know, like everybody else, and I
Yeah.
would find myself doing it in a room full of my friends, full of my family. I found myself doing it while I was sitting there with my daughter, and my daughter going, "Daddy, are you going to play with me?" And
Oh
that was one
no.
of the things that got me. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what, this is
Cold
bad,
turkey, yeah.
and if I'm not available now, she's not going to be available later, man. You know, it's all
Uh-huh.
about the time that you spend now, and my daughter and I hang out all the time now. I
Yeah.
hang out with all my friends. I hang out with my wife. I mean, I'm so much happier that I'm not
Yeah.
sucked into that abyss, you know?
Oh, one day I'll see that light, my friend.
Right? You know, I
But
mean, hey, and trust me, you know, I mean, it's not everybody has that issue. Like
Mhm.
I've got the addict gene, so I'm like all in a lot of the time,
Oh,
you know. So
I
I
see,
have to
yeah.
cut myself off, you
Mhm.
know. So you know, not everybody has that, so they can handle it whenever they want, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, dude, it's the best decision that I've made in a long time.
Well, the reason why I brought up social media is because, I'm sure you've heard of AI, even though you're not on
Oh yeah,
social media. And we've already had songs done by AI. Like I think it was
right.
Frank Sinatra or Elvis who they had him singing Baby Got Back. And it sounds
Yeah,
exactly like one of those two. I can't remember which one. There's a
yeah.
radio station in Oregon. I believe there's like an AI jock, and it's made to sound like they're midday girls. So, what are your thoughts on the whole AI thing? I'm just curious.
I think we're not responsible enough to handle world hunger and things that are actually hurting us. What the hell are we supposed to do with AI? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's like I'm gonna paraphrase Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic
Oh,
Park.
I love
It's
them.
like they spent so much time trying to figure out how to do it that they never considered whether or not they should.
Yeah.
And I don't really necessarily mean the technology. I mean the accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they've just given it to people who, you know, they can't keep brown stains out of their underwear, for God's sakes. You're going to give that power to AI? Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Like, it's, you know, we're idiots, you know, and I think there's a part of me that's fascinated by it, but there's also a
Oh, for
part of me
sure.
that is absolutely revolted by it because I know that one way or another, a handful of things can come together that will 100% put the kibosh on humanity,
Yeah.
and I don't want to have anything to do with
Well,
that.
I think because I'm in that weird generation where, because I'm 34, so I'm in that weird
Right.
generation where I knew a world where technology wasn't a thing. Like I didn't have cell phones. I didn't have a
Right.
cell phone until like I was 15.
Right.
But I was also introduced to like MySpace and all these other social media and,
Hmm.
obviously iPhone. So for me with AI, like I feel like you can never replace human interaction. Even with like
Well,
radio,
and
like you can never like replace, someone going through the same thing that you're going through,
right. Well, but here's the problem, and I agree with that. But what I'm worried about is AI replacing human ingenuity,
Yeah.
replacing human creativity,
Mm-hmm.
taking the power of the mind out of human beings' hands and handing it to a creative digital engine that can come up with a million different possibilities. And yet, and once the technology gets better and better and better,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be confounding to the point where you don't know where one begins and one ends. And that to me is taking away the credit that humanity should be taking for certain creative advances. And I don't know how comfortable I am with that being out there, because then now you can't trust anything. Now you can't
No.
trust anybody.
Uh-uh.
Now you can't trust what you see, what you hear, the only thing you can trust is, what you've done with your own two hands in front of yourself. And in a world where conspiracy theories are trying to convince people that Tom Hanks eats babies, what the hell do you think AI is doing?
God. Oh God, that's a whole nother story.
Oh, I
That's a
know, and I
whole
could
nother
go on for
conversation.
hours about it. Yeah,
Actually, I would love to hear that. But you know what? Like in the in the other sense, like yeah, I'm fascinated with it as well. Because you can get an Elvis singing "Baby Got Back." Like those things are kind of
right,
cool to hear. Or even there was an AI of Selena of like how she would sound if she were still alive. So I think
right.
all that is cool, like bringing the past kind of to the present. But yeah, like I'm totally with you as far as like the ingenuity and the creativity and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's at what point is enough enough?
Hmm.
Like it to me, it's a mirror of humanity's just willingness to take things to an absolute extreme instead of thinking about maybe we shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
It's in our nature to take something as far as it can go, and yet why haven't we decided to take things to where they naturally can sit and just be okay with that? Like satisfaction
And
can be
their response is
yeah,
like, meh, no.
exactly. And it's
They're
like,
like,
man,
why?
it's like I just don't
Yeah.
understand it. I don't understand people.
Yeah. I got Corey Taylor on the phone with me. He's coming home September
Yeah,
29th at Brooklyn Bowl because somebody decided to not be in the studio.
yeah. Well,
I'm gonna give
I
you
mean,
crap. I'm gonna give you crap for it.
I'm okay. Fine. When I come back, I'll come down to the studio.
Yep.
We'll do something. We'll
Okay.
figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah, I promise.
I'm holding it to you because now it's
Okay.
recorded.
I'm,
Okay.
I'm in. I'm ready to do this.
So shifting gears for a little bit, your son Griffin, following in your footsteps in the sense that he's fronting his own band, Vended.
Yeah,
Because I did see a quote where he's like, his only goal is to entertain people, and I love that.
yeah,
And I remember seeing a video of you on the side of the stage during his performance with his band, and you were just rocking out. You had this big smile, like you were just a proud papa. What was it
yeah.
like having those conversations with him, like that he wanted to be a musician?
I wasn't, I wasn't sure how serious he was going to be for the longest
Oh,
time,
okay.
man. Because I mean, as a father, you want to encourage your children to do something, to be something, to achieve something.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what that is. I mean, I've always tried to support my kids and make sure that they know that no matter what, I'm with them.
Mm-hmm.
I've got their back. But I've also seen him especially when he was younger, change his interests on a dime. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like to the
okay.
point
Yeah.
where it was like, I was like, okay, today he wants to be a police officer. Tomorrow he wants to be a florist. Now he
He's
wants to be a video game. A video
like
game.
developer.
What was a tester is
Oh,
what he
okay.
wanted to be. Yeah.
Okay.
So I watched him over the years really change what he wanted to do from so many different varying sides of life that when he first started doing music with other people, I was like, okay, let's see how serious he is, you know. And obviously, I tried to help a little bit, you know. I got him a pseudo PA system with monitors and whatnot, but I was like, other than that, I was like, this is fine. Like, let's just see how far he wants to go on his own. And lo and behold, man, he and Cole, one of the guitar players in his band, they were the only ones to really keep doing it after that band fell through. And that's when they started jamming with Simon. They started jamming with JJ.
Yeah.
A couple of years later, they got Grodd, and they really started to take it even further. So by that time, I was like, okay, he's in this for the long haul, you know.
Was it kind of like the first thing that he's really committed to something?
I loved it, you know. Like, I've seen him, well, and this is how I knew that he was very committed to it, because he didn't want any help writing lyrics. He didn't want any help working on melodies and stuff. And this is a kid who, not a lot of people know this, he suffers from dyslexia. And not only dyslexia, but dyscalculia. So he has a hard time not only reading words, but reading numbers and whatnot. His mind he's had to train himself to really buckle down. And, you know, it took him forever to learn how to read. It took him forever to learn how to really write things.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was really trying to do it on his own, that showed me how serious he was, man. And as a father, I cannot tell you how proud I was, you know, watching him at his first show, listening to his first rounds of demos and you know, the songs and recordings and whatnot, and seeing them stick together through the lockdown, through the pandemic, coming back out on the other side, just as committed, if not more. I mean, it was rad, man. Like, and I could go on and on about it. I bore people all the time about it.
I could hear the excitement in your voice and just the pride. So that's awesome. And just seeing, you know, the way that he approached this, it wasn't so much so like, hey, my dad's Corey Taylor, so let's do something.
He doesn't want, he didn't want any help, and he honestly gets. There are times where he gets annoyed because people bring it up, and I can't blame him, man. Yeah. Like, when you want to do something passionately, and people keep bringing up, you know, the elephant in the room, you know, it's listen, acknowledge it once, and then move on. Yeah. You know, but people really try to bog him down with it, and he's learned to deal with it, and I'm proud of him for that. Yeah. But of course, he's going to get frustrated once in a while.
Oh, of course. I mean, I can't, I can't blame him. Like, okay, I have this new record, I have this concert coming up. Hey, so how's your dad doing?
Yeah, exactly. And
he's at home.
I would be the same way. I'd be like, well, my dad's doing his thing. Why don't you call my dad? You know.
Yeah. So hopefully I'm not addressing the elephant in the room, but I wanted to talk about Slipknot for like a split second.
Yeah. Of course.
So we are getting, are we getting at least one Slipknot song on September 29th?
Oh, at the show?
At the show.
You're gonna get a few, actually.
Oh, okay.
The cool thing about this show, I mean, the cool thing about the solo show is that I can play anything I want, man. You know, we can play. You know, we've got a bunch of the solo stuff ready to go. We've got a handful of Slipknot songs that we choose from, a handful of Stone Sour songs that we choose from, a bunch of covers that we keep threatening to unleash on people. I mean, my band is so legit and they're so good that people don't even realize, man. And I'm really, really stoked for people to see the show and really get a feel for where we're going, man. Because it's just going to be a great party, not just us, but the band's coming with us, man. You know, it'd be Wargasm, Luna Aura. I mean, really two great young bands coming up that I'm stoked to be bringing out. And it's just going to be a great time for everybody.
Yeah, and I love that you're bringing out like newer bands so that people can have get to know them a little bit more, see what else is out there. So I think that's great. So going back to Slipknot, I've been hearing that you guys have this Long Lost album coming out, and it's actually been trying to get released, but it's pretty much your fault for it not getting released.
It's my fault. Yeah, and I've apologized to Clown Alex so many times. Like, it's because I keep putting stuff out. Yeah. And it just keeps like he gets right on the verge of it, and then all of a sudden I drop an album out of nowhere, and he's like, "God damn it, Taylor!" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." So yes.
So it's called
next year sometime.
Oh, okay.
Look Outside Your Window is
Okay.
going to be. I don't know when, but I was just talking to Clem about it not too long ago, and yeah, man, like he's really stoked. I'm stoked. Jim's stoked. You know, this is something that we really kind of did with no real expectations, which is one of the reasons why I think it sounds as incredible as it does. It's just so haunting and so beautiful.
So
I think people are really going to dig it.
So it's not like Slipknot sounding. It's its
No.
own thing.
This has more in common with Pink Floyd or Radiohead
dang.
than it does anything else, man. Yeah, it doesn't sound like Slipknot really at all. There's a couple of moments that feel like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, for the most part, this is a wholly different musical experience that I think people will really, really freak out on.
Oh, I'm extra intrigued because Slipknot and Radiohead, like, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's dope, man. Like people aren't ready for it.
I'm not ready for it. So, but definitely sometime next year.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably the beginning of next year. Actually.
Okay.
I know he's working to put it out. Obviously, after CMF2 is coming to come out, had its few months to kind of do its thing. We're going to try and drop it at like the beginning of next year.
Oh, okay, I see. So I saw this interview where you were asked, "What's a piece of advice that you tell your 21-year-old self?" And your answer was, "Don't find yourself in a situation where you're naked, in danger, or someone is trying to kill you." All solid advice. I 100% agree with that. No one, oh God, can you imagine? But
I mean, I can. That's why I said.
Well, I know.
Yeah.
And you also added, "I was young and in love," and I was like, hold on, wait a minute, let's rewind. Why are you naked and in danger? Because someone is trying to kill you. Let's talk about that.
Well, I mean, let's just say that my younger self, after some copious amounts of alcohol, would end up with a certain someone.
You were feeling freaky.
And
okay.
then would only then find out that person was attached to another person.
Oh, no.
And that other person would come to that apartment because maybe they didn't live together.
Oh.
And yeah.
That's a little bit.
And and honestly, listen, it takes two to tango. I take full responsibility. I should have been more. I should have asked more questions. I should have been a little more attentive to whether or not this person was in a relationship or not.
Oh, God.
It's honestly, it's one of my worst turnoffs. Especially when I was single, was somebody really, really coming on to me and then really getting into that person and then finding out that they were with somebody else was the worst bum out on the planet.
Oh, yeah, especially if you're super into this other person. Like, yeah.
Exactly.
But see,
so that was definitely like, I mean, there's enough whiskey in the world that, you never, we're all going to make bad decisions.
Of course. No, see, I thought you guys were just like trying to get freaky, and then you got naked, and all of a sudden she's like, "Here's my butcher knife." And I'm like, "Whoo."
No, wasn't nearly that bad. I wish it would have been that cool. That would have been at least something where I was like running down the street, something out of a horror movie.
You'd be like, "I'm kind of into this."
More like, how hard it is to feel tough and naked when
it's horrible.
Somebody else is fully clothed and they're trying to get you.
No, and you're just flopping around all over the place. Like, how are you being like a badass?
I'm doing the windmill with it. But, other than that.
Oh, no. Oh, man. Well, thankfully, that didn't turn out into a worse thing.
No, yeah. We can't. I hope you're glad. We can't air any of this. I'm glad you're having fun. Right.
Do you want me to cut this out? Because I really want
No. Why start now? Come on, man. Ridiculous.
All right. So here's one of my favorite questions that I came across recently. So actually, this last story that you just told, maybe that's the answer to this question. But what is a bad day that turned into your best story?
Oh, man. That's a really good question. And that last one was pretty good. I mean, and I've got a few that actually turned into closet stories, to be honest. Like, it wasn't necessarily, me, getting caught, up to no good with somebody. But I was, there was definitely times where I would be hanging out with a friend, and that friend was, visiting a chick, and this was when I was young. I can tell you that. And then we get caught at her house with her parents coming home, and we had to hide in a closet. And we're waiting for those parents to go to bed. And finally, after an hour, I was like, dude, I'm going home. This is stupid. Like, I mean, she's in bed. We're
sweaty.
In her closet.
This sucks.
It's that weird. So we make our way, and I remember it like it was like yesterday, man. It was me and my friend Ben Callahan in Waterloo, Iowa, and we're, her parents came home. We weren't supposed to be there because she wasn't supposed to have people over.
Sure.
So we're in the closet. Her parents come in to say goodnight to her. They go, "Are you smoking?" Because of course we smoke, so you could smell.
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, I'm not." Blah 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 blah. They leave. We come out and we're like, "How the hell are we going to get out of this?" You know what I mean? And finally, we just booked it down the stairs, and we were like, "Okay, yeah, it looks like we fixed the problem. We're going to acting like we're fixing stuff. Like, we didn't look like anything like that, but we blagged our way. But her parents were in such shock that they didn't do anything right at first. They were like staring at us like, what is happening? We got to the front door, out the front door, hung a right, ran down the block. We are laughing our asses off. Like, we can't believe that and we turn around and her dad's on the porch screaming at us. It's like, "I'm going to find out who you are." Like, it was so ridiculous.
Oh,
my
God.
I mean, to this day, it's one of the weirdest evenings that I had. I was like, how the hell?
How did you pull that?
I wasn't even with this girl. How am I in the closet? This is stupid.
This sucks.
Ridiculous.
Oh, when we were young.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Corey, for taking the time to talk to me. Corey Taylor is coming to Brooklyn Bowl September 29th. Tickets are on sale now, so we will see you soon, my friend. And I'm holding it to you. I'm holding you to that. We got recording.
I promise. I'm gonna come down. I'll come to the station. I promise. We'll. Yeah. I'll tell you more of these closet stories. Jesus.
Oh, I'm excited. I want to hear all about it. I'll get my tea. I'll get, I don't know, something to eat, and I'll be like right here. I'll be like, you tell me everything, man.
I'll bring well, no, my wife's going to be on the road. Damn it. Well, we'll figure something out. We'll bring some nachos down. We'll just spread it while we talk about it.
Make sure they weren't used.
Exactly.
All right, Corey. Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
KOMP 92.3. Rock you. Rock you.
Does it not rock hard?
Rock you.